Hi everyone, my name is Avni and today I'm going to talk to you about heterogeneity in global soil carbon stocks. So we know that soils are a key player in the global carbon cycle and hold one of the biggest pools of carbon globally. However, lots of key questions remain regarding the vulnerability of this carbon all the way down the pyramid to what the actual stocks of this carbon are. So I'm going to focus at the bottom of the pyramid today, thinking about stocks. So what is the global soil carbon stock, you ask? Well, varies depending on who you asked. In this study, they report over 1,000 petagrams of range depending on the database used to estimate the global stock. This variability continues if you move from databases and look across Earth system models, see how much the global stock might be. So why is there such a range in global soil carbon stocks? Well, part of this is understanding that the databases of soil carbon are complex and interconnected. Just within the US, there are several different databases as well, based out of Ecological network that give us important data on soil carbon. While it's great that we're starting to get so organized and there's so much data available for soil carbon, we must understand that these databases and sources vary considerably in their structure, data types, depths, etc., and are often hard to harmonize in any way. Depth is a great example because we know that the different databases have different maximum depth sampled, and this might affect total estimates. Depth is also a great example because from this recent study, it suggested that only 40% of the primary literature actually reports the sampling depth. And typically this depth is only the top 30 centimeters of soil. Now this is important because we know that deeper than 30 centimeters, there are still a lot of important soil processes and a large pool of soil carbon that might be ignored. So these are just some important aspects to consider. So what are the solutions? Well, one solution is to better understand the structure of these different soil carbon databases and think about how they can be connected to each other. Kathy Todd Brown is doing just this. She's starting to look across databases and finds that there are almost 3,000 unique columns in these databases that are reporting different things. That still leads to about 1,000 unique variables. So that is a lot of information to handle and organize. As she does this, she's then able to map these different databases onto each other and see how the structures might become interoperable in the future. Another solution is using diagnostic studies of why soil carbon stock varies depending on the data source. We're starting to do this in a study led by Kat Georgiou, who's looking at how data product-derived SOC estimates match on to model-derived SOC estimates. And wherever the match occurs, is it for the right reasons? One way she's doing this is by also looking at the drivers of soil carbon formation and seeing how the driver importance is different between models and data. And she's already starting to see that data and model SOC are best predicted by often very different things. Lastly, what can you do? Well, quite a few things actually. The first thing you can do is consider measuring soil carbon, even if you're not a soil carbon scientist. Doing so might give you some important clues in the structure and function of your ecosystem and might give you more information in the process that you're interested in. Once you start to think about measuring soil carbon, you can also make sure that you adhere to measurement standards. And then lastly, once you have your data, make sure you can make it discoverable by uploading it into repositories and then eventually making them available in databases. We have started to put all of this information together in an upcoming review led by Sharon Billings, so look out for that. So I won't read through my summary, but feel free to pause and read through. And I'd like to thank you for listening. And if you want to hear more on soil data management or what happens when we dig deeper in soils or what happens when we leverage big soil data to answer cross-disciplinary questions, please feel free to check these different talks out. And once again, thank you for listening.